Hi ISTJ. ISTJ, what's your Telegram handle? I'm curious. Cause until now I don't know. But you have been to all the live. Wait, wait. Hi Clarence. I'm not in buy, it didn't tap my buy. But it tapped the sell limit just now, but we deleted it so okay wait, give me a second. We have big news coming in later. So it's our first heavy news day since last 2 weeks. Hi Bella and Beppo. It's been long since I see you guys. How's your New Year's celebration? Hi Anthony. Hi Manuel. Okay, let's see today news. Today is our first heavy news day in 2 weeks. Big news, but I'll probably give an outlook after news hits. Because the thing now is we have ADP and FP, which is gonna give a so I cannot give any economic analysis because last week bank was on holiday, so I didn't have any economic data to work with, which is one of the mistakes in the analysis. But we shall wait for this to come out. With our ADP NFP, we will have an estimate about what we can expect for NFP tomorrow, and then we can have a gauge of how DXY is gonna move. So with unemployment claims and NFP, we can kind of gauge the data for NFP tomorrow. So with today and tomorrow, it's probably gonna set the direction for this month to come, and then we'll have probably a better direction for NFP. Hi Joni. Right, so the thing is yesterday it managed to hold our 2032 support, right? So it held all the way, pushed all the way back up into our H4 fair value, get 50% value, and then it got rejected off. Okay, so now the thing is we have to wait, alright? Gotta be patient to see whether if it closes above, then we might have a retest towards our 2070 area. But if it continues to reject, we might have a retest back to our H4 area as well. So what we want to do is gonna be patient, right? We're gonna be patient today. We have news in 9:15, so we wait it out. Okay, I need the news data so that we can see how our DXY is gonna do. Right, let's see DXY. Okay, right, so DXY, as you guys can see, it kind of gapped out after this big rejection sell off on 2nd Jan, and then 3rd Jan opened with a big gap up, and it kind of retake our H4 support zone now, approaching our H4 resistance zone. So this is an important key point to look for. If prices crosses and push above this resistance zone, then we will have a market structure shift back to the bullish momentum already. So this is where I will start to look to continue selling gold. But if it reject off this resistance, H4 resistance, which is a very significant area for DXY right now, we should have a retrace back down to our daily order block area. So we'll look for buys for USD pairs. right? So very important is to look at how DXY is gonna do, and NFP tomorrow is probably gonna set the direction for this month's data to come. Have you guys read the new chapter on economic news and the impact that I sent you guys yesterday? Chapter 5, I think. Hello, SY. Right, so chapter 5, we will be able to see all those, how recession, how you can read different type of news and understand what each news is for, so you can understand its impact and how it will affect the market. Gold sell. I'm not looking to sell gold from here. I'm gonna wait for news to release first. Because today is ADP non-farm payroll. So ADP non-farm payroll is basically a gauge for our NFP tomorrow. Right? So it will give you a hint of what to expect for NFP tomorrow. So we're gonna wait for these 2 days to pass. We're gonna take it slow for these 2 days. Probably only sell or buy at significant zones, because we want to wait for NFP to have a general direction of the market. Yeah, in short, in 2048, do you use breaker blocks? Yeah, breaker blocks are basically all the blocks that got broken through and serve as a fresh so-called support or resistance zone. Do you do buy stop, sell stop? No, I don't. I don't trade news. I don't trade news. But this is a strong key zone, especially this overlapping area at 2054. Because it's our fresh H4 resistance overlapping with our H4 fair value gap zone. So if news pumps it up, we might look for potential sells here. You do this, is it profitable? It really depends on the risk management. That's the thing, right? We will have wins and losses. This week honestly is one of my heaviest losses week since July last year. I'm down about 2,000 this week, but December last week I made about 8 grand on my funded, because we had 100% win rate on December last week. I mean, in this game there's wins and losses, so we gotta see how we can manage our risk and adapt to the market changes, right? So as you guys can see, okay, let me turn on the volume indicator so you guys can see that how I gauge whether volume has come back into the market. Okay, so December we had low volume, right? We had all this low profile volume indicator, and then January, starting from January, right, we start to see spikes in volume, right? Yesterday we had a big sell off, 57,000 lots traded in this 4 hour candle here, right? So you guys can see that we are back in January now, and volume is starting to gain traction. If you guys go to the daily candle, you guys can see that January volume is starting to get heavier and heavier, and you guys can see that actually sellers are stepping in from 4th December onwards. You guys can see this based on daily itself, sellers has been stepping in, right? So I do think that we might have a go reversal towards the downside, but probably we would not want to sell here. If you guys want to look for sales, it will probably be at 2057 area or 2054 area. But also we're gonna monitor whether prices breaks through this H4 resistance and turn as a fresh support. Right? So what could happen after Friday NFP, right? We have two ways that it might happen. If it breaks through, right, and it serves as a new fresh support, we're gonna retest our H4 order block here, provided DXY dumps, right? So number two is if it rejects off here, we could look for a possible retest towards this support here after today's news, right? So this is what we want to look at for today's news, right? So this is a very key zone here, 2054, right? Whether we gonna look for buys or look for sells after news release. Yeah, so red is the amount of seller, right? And then green is the amount of buyers. This is the total volume traded, right? So volume indicator is a good indicator to see whether it's a manipulation or is it an actual zone, right? Okay, so if you guys see that prices move a lot, but there's very little volume here, you guys can see that it's a manipulation. But if you guys see a big dump with heavy volume, then this is what we call a market sell-off. That means retailers and banks are both selling off at the same time, right? So volume indicator can help you to kind of sort of differentiate whether it's a manipulation by the banks or is it a true market sell-off. What's my most traded pair? My most traded pair is gold. I'm waiting for news to release. News is gonna release in 7 minutes, so we're gonna wait patiently for news. UK time. Basically in 7 minutes. Right, we have news in about 7 minutes. Alright, let me pull it up for you guys. Right, so I'll be looking for sales today since we have already broken structure here. Right, we have created a market structure shift here already. So now this fresh resistance zone has been formed here. Alright, so we'll be looking to take potential sales off this zone here. So let's just be patient. Right? Okay, so let's just chill a bit. This is in 5 minutes and then we'll look for potential area to buy. Yeah, the news decides because this is very big impact news. We will have ADP and unemployment claims, right? It's the first two big so-called high impact news for the start of the year, followed by NFP tomorrow, right? So we will wait for news to release and then we will decide whether to buy or sell. We gotta look at the data first. Right, but if we go down to the lower time frames, right, there could be zones where we could look for manipulation, right? So let's say manipulation, if let's say the news is good for the USD, so if it's bad for gold, or let's say if the news is bad for the USD and it's good for gold, but prices dump instead of pumping, right? So this is what we call a manipulation or liquidity sweep for news. This is where I'll look for my entries at. Right, so same thing for news, I'll be waiting around here. Alright, so this zone is in the case where the news is good for gold, but prices dumps here. I will look for entries here because this could be a manipulation before a pump. But if prices are bad for gold, but it pumps up, I will look for sales around here. Make sense? Which broker do I use in TradingView? TradingView I'm using Orient, but I'm jumping between brokers on TradingView because I have different charts that I use. So we're just gonna chill a bit, alright? Right? So this is why when prices are approaching a resistance zone, right, wait for signs of rejection before we look for counter trend sales or buys. I think 2054 is because this is an overlapping zone between our H4 fair value gap and our H4 resistance zone. So it's a very strong zone that we will look at. This is the zone where we have an overlap between our H4 resistance and our H4 fair value gap zone. So this could be a strong sell zone, but if it breaks out of here, then our next sell zone will be probably at 2067 already. So now we're just gonna wait a little, one more, 2 more minutes, still news. Is gold bearish or bullish? What's the bias? Yes, exactly. This is why we have to wait for news to hit. Then we know whether it's bullish or bearish. Because this will be the first high impact news of the year. Apart from yesterday, but yesterday wasn't that big of a news impact. Can he fly straight to a H4 order block here? I doubt so. Unless it's NFP tomorrow, but I don't think it will fly straight to H4 order block. I will send you guys the zone that we will monitor, alright, for sales, okay? So news is coming to hit soon. News is in 1 minute. We'll have news in 1 minute. Now, for unemployment claims news out. Alright, let's see how DXY is doing. So, let's refresh. Your new what platform is this? For TradingView or for news? To go because it's trading gold spot against the US dollar. So yeah, if it's good for the USD, news gold should dump. But I feel that gold is gonna manipulate up first before dumping. So let's see if it goes back up into this area where we could look for potential sells at. Is the red area the red area is a high probability sell zone, right? But this is where I'll be looking for sells at our H4 resistance zone. Oh, news. Okay, news is called forexfactory.com. It's an online at 9:30 p.m. So this unemployment claims will be the big impact news that will move the market for today. How's the website compared to like news on a DB? Okay, Forex Factory news is to release economic data, your forecast data for each news for each pair. This is what your TV news will not show you. That's the difference, alright? Okay, so we monitor this 205 4 to a confirmation over on our Telegram channel inside our TikTok bio, right? Waiting for unemployment claims at 9:30 p.m. Yeah, I'm transferring my losses. This week I have losses. I'm down 2k this week. So last week was 100% win rate. So this week we will try to fight back today and tomorrow. I'm using HFM. I'm looking at gold shorts to fall into 2016 level. Steve, yeah. So what I'm looking for essentially is possible sell zone from our H4 fair value gap zone. Here, right? I'm looking for it to tap about H4 resistance and I'm gonna swing trade it back towards our H4 order block zone here at 2017 area. Small capital. Yes, because you are unable to predict news. How to trade NFP? You don't trade news. You wait for the data to come out. You read and analyze the data, and then you trade after the data has been released. Make sense? Okay, essentially, if it breaks our H4 support, I'll be looking for to target this 2018 area. Where do you get the data? First, you will see is whether it's good for the USD or not, and then USD is inversely related to gold. What do you think about